Greetings and welcome to my garage in Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. I hope to make a new series here where I am going to go to the junkyard, buy a car, send it back here and rebuild it, and then sell it. And I'm going to buy whatever car I can find and rebuild it and sell it for whatever we get. As you can see, I am max level 55, and I have $38 million because I've been playing the holy hell out of this game, and I thought this would be interesting. And this is kind of what I do with it now. I've completed all of the story quests, and there's not really anything left to do but regular customer orders. Sometimes these are interesting and sometimes they're not. Dodge Viper. Yeah. So what I do most of the time to pass the time is I go to the junkyard and buy stuff. So here's the plan. We're going to go to the junkyard. We're going to buy a car, whatever car we can find, bring it back here, 100% it, and sell it. And hopefully it'll be something interesting. I'm going to buy something of whatever is there, unless like the junkyard has got nothing but Bolt Atlantas in it or something, because those I don't. I've done enough of them. But we'll see what we get here. Usually takes my computer a little bit of time to load into the junkyard. But here we are, and let's see what is here, if anything. Boy, not looking good. Nothing in the usual places so far. Oh wow, well, there's something. What is that? I think that's a Focus RS. And this is a mod. I did one of these once before. It didn't come out terrible. Let's see if there's anything else here. It's convertible something. Miata. This is also a mod, and I did the Miata too. It doesn't go together very well underneath though. The modder did something. I mean, the exhaust doesn't fit together right. What else is here? Anything? Nothing. Not a thing. God, this is the worst. This is the worst junkyard. Literally the worst junkyard pickings I've ever seen. I don't really want to do the RS. I don't want to do the Miata. Okay. So we'll reset it and try again. Okay. Well, that was terrible. I'm really shocked that that was all we got that time. Let's hope that there's something interesting here. Oh man. Okay. Back once again in the junkyard. And there's something over there. This is a mod of something. Aston Martin DB11. I've done one of these once before. I didn't find it very satisfying because it has a lot of cosmetic parts. What is this? This is an RX-7. Drag car. I hate doing the drag cars. That's promising. Is that the 550? Oh, Maserati Quattroporte. That's a good one. That's a Jaguar E-Type. I've done this a couple of times. It's not very satisfying to build either. The Quattroporte is probably going to be the one I do. Only God, nothing but crap in here again too. Oh boy. I was really hoping for something interesting. The Maserati's not terribly interesting, but it's better than nothing. V8 twin turbo. That's a V8 engine, will be easy. Okay, let's bounce back to the garage. Okay, so what I like to do is rip off all the old body parts, pull out the interior, take that out. Windows are not repairable, so they're not worth messing with. All we had in this one was a door and a window. Hood. I will flush these body parts. I'll just buy new ones. Okay, now I like to come in here and rip out all the pieces that are mounted to the body of the car. Is there? Yeah, there it is. I was like, is there? I know there's an ABS module in here. So what I like to do here is buy these things. And it was radiator A, which means it's probably radiator fan housing B, but I want to be sure. I hate buying parts that I hate buying the wrong kind of parts. You know what? I didn't buy the air filter stuff. Damn it. The ABS module is tucked in under the battery. And this is a front engine car, which means it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt to maneuver around in there. Oh, radiator fan housing. See, good. I'll buy the air filter base. Radiator fan housing. We'll buy the generic air cover and the air base. Gonna need 4 clips. And I'm going to need a red air filter. So let's slap, whoops, no. We'll go ahead and slap this stuff in. Okay, and now what do I need? I wish this would stay where I left it. It keeps changing on me. Okay, so I can get rid of that and that and that. Get rid of the window, battery, brake servo. It all is quattroporte stuff. Okay, I could repair the body parts. I don't feel like dealing with it. Interior pieces. So now we need, there's probably a bench. I wonder, yep, there's a bench. One of them, two of those, and one of those. And now we'll buy all of these bits. Oh, there's a lot of body parts. And I think it has a front plate. Okay, so now let's slap all this stuff. Nope, that's not what I want. And we'll slap in all these interior parts. Okay, that's done. And now we'll start assembling body parts. Come on now. Oh, I didn't take out the front window. Okay. Left door window, left rear door, left window, a little bitty window. You know, in real life, that little window would be freaking useless. It's so far back that you couldn't even see out of it from the back seat. And from the front seat, it would be just absolutely useless. Tail lights. Put on the plate. Okay, the little window and the doors. Front bumper, headlights. It does have a front plate. Good. Some of these cars don't have a front plate. Okay, I think that's all the body parts. Shouldn't have anything in my inventory but that. Porsche parts from the last Porsche I worked on. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Normal mode. Move car. Okay, now I like to do, come on. I like to do all of the body parts and paint stuff first. I'll repair that. And we'll clean up the interior. Put that stuff away. Car already looks way better. I'm going to send it up, and I'm going to get out the exhaust parts and the fuel. Other stuff I'd like to do early, just to facilitate this process. Get out the fuel tank and the fuel pump. I wonder if there's any quattroporte parts. There are. I'm probably going to need that stuff for sure. I don't know how many mufflers and exhaust pipes this thing needs. Let's get a tank. I think I did one. I've done one of these before that I can remember. I don't think I remember anything else. Minimize. Let's do that. Okay. So it's going to be two mufflers, two exhaust pipes. Those need to come off. Looks like middle muffler, catalytic converter, front exhaust pipe V8. front exhaust pipe V8B. I don't think that there are any performance versions of those. Let's buy 2 of these, and 2 of these, and 2 of those. 2 middle mufflers. Oh, no, that's not it. No, wait. No, front exhaust pipe B, V8. What I need is front exhaust pipe V8B. 2 of them. This is something else that kind of annoys me, is there aren't like performance parts for every... Where am I? There we go. There aren't performance parts for every application. And it seems it really seems kind of cheesy. You have these generic pipes, and then you have the chrome pipes. Some of the V8s, they have you end up with a chrome pipe and a generic pipe and a chrome pipe, and it just really doesn't look right. I mean, fortunately, it's not a car that I'm keeping or anything, so. Okay, and now I'm going to paint it. Don't need to actually move it off the lift. I can just fling it over here. The factory color is fine. It's kind of a... I actually used to have a car in real life that was sort of this color. They called it champagne. I called it beige. Out in the sunlight, it looked beige to me. So the car is already 1,000 times better than it was when I bought it, and I have forgotten how much I paid for it. I think it was 30 something thousand. Let's see where we are now. 126,000 already, just cosmetic stuff. Alright, let's see how far we can go. Is this a double leaf rear end? Or is it the suspension rear end? I think it is. Yep, it's the suspension rear end. Oh my god. At least I won't have to put together any of the the shock absorbers. But some of these things are like, I know that this particular rear end requires 18 bushings. Or no, I'm sorry, I'm totally wrong. It requires 16 bushings, 8 of each, 8 small and 8 regular. And there's a bunch of pieces that are not repairable, like the shock absorber caps, and the springs are not repairable, the sway bars are not repairable, the bushings are not repairable. Sometimes the other pieces are good. I might be able to repair. Usually what happens is I end up repairing about half of the suspension arms. The drive shaft sometimes is repairable. What is it, 10%? I bet it's broken. Gearbox V8. I'll take it off now because I'm going to throw it away and get a performance gearbox. Same thing with the clutch. I'm actually surprised that every single car in this game has a standard transmission. None of them have an automatic. Take all of this apart. The brake discs, the brake stuff would pretty much be thrown away. I might be able to repair a caliper in the cylinder. Might be able to repair a caliper or two, or in a cylinder or two, but the brake discs and pads are trash. The rear shocks are trash. I'll dismount the wheels and see if I can repair the rims. I'll go through and flush all the bushings and the springs. Everything I know is not going to repair. And then we can reassemble this thing fast. Okay, so I'm going to whack the bushing, get rid of all the bushings. And I'll get rid of the brakes. Not going to bother trying to repair the brakes. I wonder what let's see, which sway bar is it? Sway B? Yeah. So all those things I know I can just forget. I can replace. So brakes, regular brake discs, always for the rear. Rear sway bar B, 2 sway bar links, bushings, 8 of those, and 8 of those. Okay, let's get rid of the shock. Let's get the shocks and the clutch stuff. Rear shock A. Don't need the clutch release bearing, but the other clutch parts are performance parts. Oops, flywheel. I'll go ahead and buy the gearbox. It's that one right there. I know I'm going to need a starter because it didn't have a starter. Okay, so I can delete that, and that, and that, and that. I'm going to need the hubs, and that. Okay, rear wheel hub, hub 3. Okay, so 2 rear wheel hubs, 2 hub 3s, 2 hub bearings. Let's go ahead and whack the shock parts. Usually one of the spring caps ends up being repairable, but I don't think I'm going to do with it. I don't think I'm going to try it. They were both red, so one of them, they might both be crap. Shock cap. Oops, there's some shock absorber I didn't get rid of. Okay, let's see what this. A lot of this stuff is red. Oh, let's dismount the wheels. Of course, those rims are red too. I'll dismount the wheels and see if those are repairable. Oh, good. Repaired both of the wheels. So what did we not repair? The drive shaft. Yeah, the drive shaft I didn't think would be repairable. So the 2 upper arms, A and B. Two of those, an A and a B. Oh, and a drive shaft. Okay, so let's buy some tires. 245, 40, 20. $245, 40, 20. I'm buying sport tires instead of standard tires. Yeah, they're the same size. I'll get rid of them. So that means the whole back end is done. Alright, wheels mounted and balanced, all the parts are in hand. Let's slap this sucker together. So I like to first put everything on that I can without having to move the camera. Because once you start getting herky-jerkied around with the camera angles, it gets confusing. And occasionally I miss parts, especially in this particular kind of rear end, because it's got a million arms and bushings and everything going onto it. I've done enough of them now that I think I remember where they all are. Occasionally I forget the sway bar end links. I'm not sure. The front end, like if you forget the tie rods, for instance, it won't let you mount the wheels. I think this one will actually let you mount the wheel even if you don't have like all of these things in here. But that is in there. Alright, so all the suspension arms and bushings and stuff on this side are in. And now I need the bearings and the drive shaft. Whoop, the bearing didn't go. Drive shaft. Slap together the wheel assembly. Alright, that side is finished. And now I occasionally, especially on this one, because on the upper parts of the cross member, you can't like manually move the camera to a point above it. And a couple of times I have forgotten to put those bushings in on the upper part of the cross member, so I try to do them first so I don't forget. Get the end link on. There's a bushing that goes in here. Get that on, and then the springs. And now we can assemble the wheel. Drive shaft, or the rear drive axle rather. Get the brakes in, and the rim. And just like that, that back end is done. And I don't have any other suspension parts floating around in my inventory. Let's see where we are now. Only up to 147 grand. The front end is going to be slightly more complicated. Oh, it has the front shock absorber A. Got, let's see, so the tie rods are trash. The tie rods are not repairable. The sway bar is not repairable. This one only has 6 bushings to deal with because there's no upper suspension arm. The rack looks pretty bad. May or may not be able to do anything with it. Have to remember to flush those hubs, the hub bearings and the hub bearing caps. Those are not repairable either. What else? Sway link A. Is this the regular sway link? Yeah, it is. Tie rods. Come on, come off there. Thank you. Front shock absorber. Oops. Lower suspension arm. Knuckle and bushing. I hope this cross member is repairable. Sometimes they're not. Oh, it's only 7%. I bet it's not. Alright, now let's get the shock absorber. Whoops. I'll get the shock parts. Front shock absorber A, front shock absorber cap, springs, I know I'm gonna need 6, 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 of those. Tie rods. And let's see, it's the front sway bar and the front sway link A. So now I can start getting rid of things. Probably should have done this before. Get rid of the junky parts. Let's see, the tie rods. I think it's all right in there, yep. Sway bar. Pull that off. I'll go ahead and flush these junked shock absorbers. And take that off. I'll go ahead and dismount the wheels. I think that rim was 6%. Probably could repair one of these front wheel hubs, but I'm not going to bother. And let's get the brakes. Again, I could probably repair a caliper. I'd rather just get new ones. Okay, brakes. Flush the bad parts. Yeah, those 2 calipers are probably repairable, but I don't feel like dealing with that. I bet a lot of these are not going to be repairable. Yeah, like nothing. One of those rims was shot. Managed to repair one rim. Rack. crossmember F. And that was a quat. No. Quat. Quat 20. Whack that. Whack that. Front axle knuckle cover, lower suspension arm. Both of the lower suspension arms. And a front axle knuckle cover. Front. Your steering knuckle A. 245 40 20. So 245 40 20. Sure hope I brought the right tires. Yeah. And I bought sport tires instead of standard tires. I don't really know. I don't know if one tire or another is better. I usually just put sport tires on everything unless it's a race car. Like the I'll put the slick tires on like a Zonda. Balance these things. Should go ahead and move the engine thing over here. I'm going to yank the engine after I'm done with the tires. Yep, done. I like to point out that mounting and balancing tires is not as easy in real life as it makes it in here. I mean, I understand it from a gameplay perspective. But since I've actually used the mounting and balancing machine, mounting the tires to the rims and balancing them, the game really kind of makes it easier, even easier than it should be in real life. Though I suppose if you go to there's people out there I know who can't live with themselves unless their game is as hard as possible. And this game is super enjoyable as it is. I mean, by no means do I pretend to be a mechanic or anything. I do know enough to work on my own car. But some of the stuff that the game does I think is kind of funny. Like you couldn't really assemble a suspension like this hanging in the air because, gravity. Let's get this put together, then I'll do the other side. Oops, I can see I missed. I always try to get these bushings in first, because once you bury these things behind other parts, it's easy to forget. And I hate to have to. I hate, especially when I think I'm done with a car, and I go to look at the parts list, and I'm at 99% parts, and then you're scouring the car trying to find what you forgot. Let's put that in here. Alright, no excess parts floating around. Alright, so that car now is looking 1,000 times better than it did. We're at $172,000 now with a junked engine. Let's go ahead and yank this bad boy out. Stick it on the rack. And whoop. See where we are. Okay, so I can see right away I'm going to need 8 spark plugs. I actually think this manifold, and I'm going to need the fuel rail. I actually think that there's a performance version of this manifold. I'm going to have to look. There aren't any plugs in there. So there was only one junked plug in this car. A V8. If this is the same as the other V8s, I'm going to need like a buttload of rollers and stuff. Can this come off yet? Yes, it can. The timing cover can come off. Does it need a... Yeah, it does. I was just thinking to myself, does this car need a fuel filter? And it do. Engine head V8. Those cam gears are going to be trash. Camshaft V8. Six bolts. I know that there's performance versions of this head, so I'm not going to bother repairing them. Let's flip this thing over. Oh, look at that. It actually has crankshaft caps in it. I'll go ahead and take them out. Maybe sometimes they're repairable. There's one rod cap that I can see. One. So I'm going to need to buy pistons and rings. Okay, so stuff that I know is not repairable. I want to flush these things. And there was one spark plug. Oops. I always forget to pluralize it because there's a lot of things that have rings in them. So let's buy... I hope I just bought 8 rings. I think I did. So 8 pistons, 8 rings, 8 spark plugs. There was one fuel rail, but since there are performance versions of them, I'm not going to bother with it. Get rid of that. The 4 cam gears on the timing belt V8. Camshaft V8. 4. No, I bought 5 of them. Engine head V8. Need to buy 2 of them. Cam gear times 4. Timing belt V8. 2 of them. Crank pulley V8. And if this is the same, it needs like 5 of these and 2 of those. My keyboard is stuck, I can tell. I'm gonna oh, it didn't. No. Okay, so I can delete that and 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 that. Bought that, bought that, bought that, bought that, bought that. I'm not going to need this because I know there's a performance pump. Probably needs an alternator too. I sure hope it does. Or I just bought something I don't need and gotta hate it when I do that. Water pump V8. Let's see if there's a manifold for this quad. Yep, there is, right there. Pardon me, I had to take my microphone away from my mouth for a second. And I think it needs 2 of these. I hope. Okay, so I don't need this. Water pump V8. Which means I'm going to need a water pump pulley too. Actually, I probably could have repaired that. I bought a new one. Okay. Let's see if any of this crap is repairable. Lost 1 crank cap. The timing cover, the crankshaft. So I need to buy 7 rod caps. Crankshaft V8, timing cover V8, that one. Did I buy a fuel filter? I don't think I did. Nope. And I looked at it on the engine too. I knew it was going to need one. Oh, you know what? I know I'm going to need 8 of these too. Bloop, 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 bloop. Engine is already upside down. Okay, yep. Oh, I didn't buy an oil filter. I'm glad now I bought the alternator. Crankshaft, fuel filter. I always like how the clutch parts here, they all clip right through the engine mount. The throwout bearing is in there. That amuses me. Okay, let's get an oil filter V8. And you know what? I'm probably going to need an oil pan. I'm sure I'm going to need an oil pan. And I think it's going to be this one. I hope. This part is a little tedious. It does get a little bit mind-numbing, screwing in all the bolts. I know that some people who do these videos for this game time-lapse this stuff. I don't personally believe in time-lapse videos. I kind of hate the fact that you have to use, generic music. None of it is stuff that I really like, and I don't want to subject anybody to anything that I don't want to listen to. And I kind of believe that when you play a game like this, that you should show that this is what the game is about. And yeah, if you're the kind of person like me who gets it, who enjoys this sort of thing, it's not going to bother you. I mean, you can tell when you look at my level 55 here and the $38 million, I think you can tell that I don't mind doing that stuff. It does get a little tedious though. Okay, so now, since this is the Maserati engine, I mean, it's basically a V8. It's basically a DOHC V8 with some Maserati cosmetic stuff stuck onto it. Oh, I didn't buy the throttles. I should have known. Let's get back out here. I'm gonna need belts too. I love how shiny it is. I don't think that this engine requires camshaft caps though, thank God. That's something that makes me want to eat my mouse if I have to do a whole lot of camshaft caps. Do like the V12 and the Zonda that's got like 20 camshaft caps between the two sides of the engine. Get the camshafts in over there. I bought the turbos. Yep. A nice twin turbo engine too. Actually, I think this will give me the timing cover. Yep. You see, I bought all those rollers. It came in handy. I've done this particular engine enough times. It's like 5 roller Bs and 2 roller As. And you don't realize that you need the second roller A because it goes here after you've installed. I'm going to need a belt tensioner too. After you've installed the first belt. Serpentine belt V8. Belt tensioner. So this is just the generic V8. Serpentine belt A, V8. Serpentine belt B, V8. And when the valve covers go on, this engine will be done. See, look, roller A. So I did buy the right number of rollers. Oh, it's not quite done because the coils go on. I don't think there's a coil cover for this. No coil cover. Oh look, I didn't put the turbo in. And I didn't put the spark plugs in. I was concentrating on the other side. So now I have to stick my fingers into these holes. Mount the spark plugs. So the coils are in, and this engine. Oh, look at that. You can see that timing belt. This engine is complete. So this is my favorite part. You can like take the engine off and put it in your pocket. Let's stick this bad boy in here. Move this away. So I would recommend at this point, as soon as you put the new engine in the car, immediately put oil in it. It's really easy to forget. At least it won't let you like try to start it without oil in it. And now we can finish the drivetrain. It's a good thing I bought these parts ahead of time. His junkyard cars like never ever have a starter in them. And since I buy these cars to rebuild them and sell them, I never use the transmission that they come with either. I always go with the performance transmission. But that should be 100% across the board. Yes, it is. I did that quickly because I didn't want to look and see how much the value is now. I want to send it to the dyno first. Oops. Click the wrong thing. Now let's see what kind of power we get out of it. Factory power 530. Wow, that's enormous. We went from 530 horsepower to 1180. 122% improvement. This is the kind of car that you're like, I'm like scared to sell to someone. It's got so much power. Alright, let's kick it out to the garage. Remembering that it was purchased for something like $38,000 in the junkyard. It is up to $281,000 with a resto bonus of $56,000, so call it $330,000 in that neighborhood. Let's see what kind of speed we get out of it. Of course, with sport tires, it's going to be like driving an oiled squirrel along an electric truck. I'm coming up with a metaphor that isn't making any sense. It'd be like trying to push a greased ball bearing across a sheet of ice. Oh, see, look. Oh, it's a good thing there's no crash physics. The sport tires are useless out here. Get off the wall. Good God. I should make some racing tires to test cars with. I can get this thing up to 150 miles an hour, 160, 170, 180, 186. Even after all that, I could still get it up to 186. I bet it would do 200 miles an hour with the right tires. But all right, that car is done. That car is done, and I'm going to sell it because I don't have any interest in keeping it. So bought it for $38,000. Sell it for $337,000. Yeah, I call that a pretty good price. So hopefully I'm going to make this a series. I'm going to do this regularly. Go out there, buy a car, build it out, sell it. So hopefully I'll be able to keep this up because I really enjoy playing this game. I don't want to stop. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you for the next one. Thank you and good night.